Here we go live from the White Claw Hard Seltzer Studios. It's overtime, presented by VIP Play with Allie Campbell, Jackson Freeman, and Tyler Barbaras. I'm William Pattison. We appreciate you listening along with us on this Victory Monday from K-Town, and we've got plenty to cover over the next hour, including a thriller. And last night's Sunday night football game, the Ravens and Bills go down to the wire once again. And this time it's the Bills once again on top. Before that, we'll talk about our Week 2 takeaways around college football. Plenty of good action over the weekend. We'll dive into our big takeaways from that. We'll also have our Best Bets recap presented by VIP Play, recapping our wagers from over the weekend as well. And then, folks, it's Georgia week. The week that we have been waiting for a very long time has finally arrived, and man, I feel it in the air. I really do. This is the most buzz I have felt around a game since 2022 Alabama, and I mean that seriously. I remember that week, there was just something about it. There was a buzz around campus. There was a buzz around Knoxville that you knew that this was going to be a big game. College game day coming back to Tennessee for this one. College game day was there in 2022 for Alabama. And you've liked what you've seen so far from your offense. It's been 2022-esque. There's been some more fun, big-time plays. Obviously, Syracuse and ETSU is one thing compared to Georgia. But, folks, I was listening to the Tony Basilio show earlier today on Fan Run Radio, and there were a couple of callers who just got me fired up. There was one of them went on for 47 seconds, just screaming and yelling and talking about what this rivalry means. And I'm really excited about it. We'll talk about that Georgia-Tennessee game here in just a second. But we did have a game over the weekend as the Volunteers smashed the Buccaneers inside Neyland Stadium. We'll give our takeaways from that one. But before we do that, let's welcome in the rest of the crew, beginning with Allie. Allie, how are you on this Victory Monday?
What a great way to kick off the week. Feeling great about this weekend. I actually had the opportunity to go to the game. This is my last season of student tickets, so really taking it in as much as I can. And it was great. Feeling good going into today.
Tyler, how are you?
You know, William, I realized something about myself yesterday.
Oh, no.
I've matured.
Okay.
From 2019, 2020, when I was a sophomore, junior in high school, there was a part of me with my sports fandom that I couldn't control. It was like I was like the Hulk, and I would turn into someone that I wasn't.
Okay.
I'd just be really angry and upset, and I'd throw things. But after yesterday, I was surprisingly really calm. And I feel like that's a testament to me growing up and being more mature about things.
Okay.
And I realized last night at about 1:45 a.m. that there's more to life than sports. And even though probably 70% of my day surrounds sports and I talk about sports or I do things sports related, there's more to life than sports. And I realized that last night sitting in my bed at 1:45 a.m. So I feel like that's a very, very big development into my personal growth. So I am very happy that I realized that. But overall, I feel pretty good.
Is that in any reference to what went down last night in Buffalo?
You could say they're related, sure.
Well, you're a trooper for making it in today. I appreciate you coming in. We'll talk more about that game. Maybe give you a little bit of an opportunity to get it all out. You know what I mean? Maybe, look, it's a long season, Tyler. You got an opportunity to just flush it all away. Hey, you're not the only one back there that had a bad weekend for your NFL team.
That is true.
Jackson got his whole weekend ruined by what unfolded in Brazil on Friday. Jackson, how are you?
I'm doing good considering what I went through this weekend for my professional sports teams. Not only did the Kansas City Chiefs just come out and have an absolute stinker in Brazil, but the Royals are continuing to inch closer to the sixth and final AL wildcard spot. Or I'm sorry, the sixth and final AL playoff spot, the second wild card spot. And right as the situation is perfect for them to take the step, secure that spot, they just blow it. And yesterday, particularly a 5-1 game, a 5-1 loss against the Minnesota Twins, in which you loaded the bases twice in the last 2 innings. It was rough. But getting to watch a 70-point Tennessee game on Saturday really made me feel better.
There you go.
Makes up for it.
There's a positive thrown in there. Well, we'll talk about that Tennessee ETSU game on Saturday with our takeaways as Tennessee football made easy work of ETSU Saturday afternoon, annihilating its in-state foe 72-17 in its 2025 home opener at Neyland Stadium. The Vols jumped out to a 24-0 lead in the first quarter, and ETSU didn't receive a first down until its sixth drive of the game. Tennessee scored 6 first-half touchdowns while scoring on 8 of its first 10 drives. Joey Aguilar, a.k.a. Joey Spirals, a.k.a. Joey Football, had a strong second showing, completing 23 of 31 passes for 288 yards and 2 touchdowns, including a 53-yard bomb to Mike Matthews. Both Matthews and Chris Brazel totaled 100-plus yards, while Brazel caught a pair of touchdowns. And we'll get into our takeaways from Saturday. And look, folks, I get it. It's ETSU. We shouldn't be overreacting from what we saw this week. And as we talked about last week, it's more so just a tune-up, making sure all the cards are aligned, and also get an opportunity to see some young players play. And I think you were able to be successful with that. And when we talked to you on Friday about the keys to the game, play clean, get out to an early lead, allow for the opportunity for some of these young guys to be able to play. All of that went down Saturday, and it was kind of reminiscent of what you saw in that UT Chat game last season in the opener, where you got off to a very strong start. Things were pretty much nipped in the bud after a couple of possessions, and you got the opportunity to watch a lot of these younger guys play. So that was all positive. I thought Joey Aguilar played well, 23 of 31, continuing to get comfortable within this offense, and that's what your goal is leading up to a big matchup with Georgia on Saturday. I thought Joey made a couple of throws that I would maybe rather have back, and one of those was that 53-yard bomb to Mike Matthews. Even though he says he was throwing to Matthews, that's not a play I want to see on Saturday against Georgia. That is a one-way ticket to turnover land, and we saw a lot of turnovers last season from Aguilar at Appalachian State, and I get it. It's a part of his personality, his characteristics of how he plays football, a gunslinger, a risk taker. I'm okay with all of that. But there's a difference between recklessness and being aggressive. I thought that touchdown was a little reckless, and that's not something that's going to work against a KJ Bolden or a Dylan Everett of Georgia. That is an interception and a lost possession there. So I have to be critical there, folks. I mean, obviously it was a really fun play, really cool, and if you're in the stadium watching it, I mean, that was one of the highlights of the day. But I don't think that's something that works in SEC play, and it's one thing to throw a touchdown over a 5'6" defensive back at ETSU. It's another thing to do that up against the stalwarts at Georgia. So there's my critical piece for Aguilar, but I did think he looked comfortable. I thought he brought the balls down a little bit as well, and I thought the receivers did their part. The running game continues to look strong. The offensive line continues to do their part. I've been very impressed with both units. And again, not the greatest competition, but we talked this summer. I was really big on this running back room. I said that I think this is the best and deepest running back room that Heupel has. And the guy we kind of didn't talk about as much as maybe we should have is Star Thomas. Star Thomas was really impressive Saturday. We knew about Payne Lewis and Deshaun Bishop, 2 guys that returned from last year's team. But Thomas transfers over from Duke. You knew he was going to be kind of a utility knife, a utility piece. You could get a lot of different things from him. But I don't think we realized how good of a running back he is. He had a couple of really, really impressive plays. And I always like looking at the pictures after the game, right? Because sometimes you take a snapshot of a play and it tells a really cool story. There's one play on Saturday of Star Thomas. He's got like 8 ETSU defenders wrapping around him, trying to bring him down, and he's just chugging his way. I thought that was really cool and exemplary of the type of player that he's been so far for Tennessee. Defensively, I thought they did their part. I mean, there's not a whole lot to really digest here. You see why Cade McNamara is a ETSU quarterback, just not a guy that is going to wow you, just kind of a guy that follows a script. But again, this was a tune-up game. This was an opportunity to kind of see what you have in terms of the depth pieces. And I thought you had a couple of impressive performers there. So overall, I expected what happened on Saturday. That was the expectation. I think that should have been the expectation for many Tennessee fans out there as well. Go out there, handle business early, give the opportunity to give those offensive players, those offensive starters, another couple of reps, and then give it off to the Jake Merklingers and George McIntyres in the second half. And I thought you were able to do that. Allie, your takeaways.
I think Tennessee did exactly what they wanted to do in this matchup against ETSU. No one got hurt. They played a lot of people, and they started the game early and shut down the competition early. I think that's exactly what the goals were, and I think those were met. Now, Josh Heupel, funny enough, was not happy at the half when he did his mid-game interview, and so obviously there's things that he wants to work on, but it's good to see those in a week like this so that you can fine-tune them going into Georgia. This was also the 500th win on Shields Watkins Field, which is just a fun little note there. So a big, exciting,
milestone.
Milestone. Thank you. I was looking for that word. And then also the highest point total in the modern era of college football for the Tennessee Volunteers. Big stuff there, 72 points. Last season, Nico had 71, and the Volunteers not totally crediting that to Nico against Kent State, so big that they were even able to surpass that. And then 15 for 15 in the red zone so far this season. Big stuff. I know, not the biggest opponents so far, but it's great to see that they've been working on that. Joey looked great. Leadership from him, too, I think was a big takeaway. I wasn't able to, watch from the sidelines, but I heard from inside sources that he in the third and fourth quarters was still in the game, and he was still helping coach the QB2, QB3 guys and give them advice after each play. So that was big, knowing that he's in this 100% and he's not just going to sit back when he's not on the field. So lots of positives and a big, big week ahead of us.
Yes, most definitely. Tyler, your takeaways.
Yeah, I was really impressed. In years where Tennessee has made the college football playoff since 2000, the team scored 70-plus points in a season.
Well, there you go, Tyler. That is one way to put it.
So right now, it's looking like the Vols are college football playoff bound.
Oh, gosh.
If that's how you want to take it.
Oh, gosh.
But I was very, very impressed. I saw Allie at the game, actually.
Okay.
Pretty cool
moment
there.
I saw Tyler hit the 6-7.
Oh, no.
The path just opened for me to see him. He's 10 rows down. And then that's the first thing I see, and I'm like, yep, on brand.
So is that your side of the story? So we've gotten Allie's. You're hitting 6-7 in the stands. What is your story on it?
I wish I could tell you, but I'll take Allie's word for it.
Oh, no, Tyler. God.
So apparently I did that. Not my proudest moment, but I probably had a good reason for it. Maybe big number 67 laid down a pancake on someone, or maybe I did that. I don't know, but
maybe you're trying to decide how many points were going to go on the scoreboard.
Yeah.
If Max Gilbert was going to kick the extra point and make it, maybe that's what it was.
That actually sounds right now, William. Thanks for jogging my memory. But overall, I was very, very impressed. Colton Hood, I thought, played fantastic. That's exactly how we need him to look leading up to Georgia. Now that we are down 2 cornerbacks for this game, you're going to need Colton Hood to really step up, and I feel like he did a great job, made a couple really, really good plays on the ball. He does look like a very, very good cornerback for this Tennessee Vols football team. Offense, it had consistency. It had motion. It looked beautiful. It looked like it was just like a freight train, and they couldn't be stopped. And like you said, William, does give you a little bit of shades towards 2022. And I kind of thought about that during the game. I was like, wow, this offense, every time the ball is snapped, you think that there's a big play coming. And that's what it felt like in 2022. That's how it's felt over the past 2 weeks. And On top of that, to have 3 dynamic running backs, Star Thomas put in 3 touchdowns, Payne Lewis, Deshaun Bishop all had big plays. This is the type of consistency that this Tennessee offense has lacked over the past 2 seasons. And now to know that, or to see them trend back in that direction of 2022, it does give me hope going forward that, this offense could be as good as any other offense in college football. Now, yes, there's more work to do. And like you said, Allie, Nico Iamaleava's Tennessee-led football team, they put up 71 points last year in week 2 or week 1. And look at how that offense fared out for the rest of the year.
Mm-hmm.
So the job isn't done yet, and you have your hardest test of the season coming up. But in a game against a Georgia, you're going to have to win on the backs of your offense. And seeing how they played on Saturday, I have more hope than I did going into ETSU that we would beat Georgia. But now I feel much more confident about it. And on top of that, the line did drop from -7 to -3.5. So who knows? Maybe this Tennessee offense could be legit.
You can put it one down, one more. -3 right now on books. Open, it was at 7 this summer. Open this weekend at -6. It's dropped 3 full points since coming out yesterday. Some significant line movement. Obviously, we'll talk more about that in the Best Bet segment presented by VIP Play later in the week. But, yeah, some good movement for the Volunteers. Jackson, your takeaways real quick.
I was really happy that we played a really clean game. Didn't see a whole lot of unnecessary penalties. The offense looked like a well-oiled machine, which is great to see ahead of a big-time matchup. And, I mean, I know it was only ETSU, but a lot of the defensive issues from week 1 did not show up in this game. A lot of the running lanes were closed. They swarmed to the ball, made tackles. It's just an overall good game.
Yeah.
Exactly what I wanted to see this weekend.
Yeah, you touch on that Tennessee defense, and we'll dive a little bit further into that as ETSU failed to record a first down on its first 5 drives, losing a total of 8 yards in its first quarter drives. The Bucs finally moved the sticks for the first time with the 11-19 mark in the second quarter, and ETSU wouldn't record another first down on that drive, turning it over on downs, and Edwin Spillman blew that play up. And let's talk about the defense, because that was one of the small concerns, maybe a little bit of a bigger than small concern against Syracuse, as you were gashed in the run game against the Orange in the second half. Kind of felt like the Vols were sleepwalking at times. And obviously not a ton you can take from a dominant performance against an FCS team. But I will say, when you look across the country, there were a lot of teams in these kind of look-ahead spots, and LSU plays a Louisiana Tech. Now, granted, they're not a FCS team, but they're a lower-level group of 5 FBS team. LSU struggled with them. Clemson struggled with Troy. You had teams like FIU walk into Happy Valley and hang around in the first half. Tennessee put the B2A really quickly in this one defensively, shut down anything ETSU was trying to do. We talked about that 2-quarterback look with Criswell and McNamara. Tennessee wasn't fazed by that. I thought it was an improvement, considering that, you had to play a lot of different guys, and it was one of those type of games where it's hard to stay mentally focused. Georgia, a look-ahead spot this past week, and they played Austin Peay. Granted, there was some weather involved in this as well, where they had a big weather delay, kind of knocked them out of rhythm for about 35, 45 minutes. But again, that one was a kind of a slugfest in the first half. So these look-ahead spots in college football are always interesting. We talked about it last year with like a Notre Dame. Notre Dame loses to Northern Illinois coming off their win at Texas A&M, and then comes back and then goes on this really big run. Look-ahead spots for 18, 19, 20-year-old kids when you're getting propped up on national TV as a team that surprised a lot of people can be some rat poison. Tennessee did not let that become an issue this weekend, and we've seen before Tennessee teams fall victim to that. I mean, UTEP last year was kind of grainy for a little bit. Austin Peay came into Neyland Stadium and gave the Volunteers a game. That one looked like Tennessee was possibly on upset alert at some times. I thought Tennessee's defense did a really good job of shutting everything down as a well-rounded game. You need to continue that into next weekend, or I guess this weekend, I should say. But I think you can take a little bit of stock in the consistency that they had. Obviously, can't take a whole lot of stock in who they're going up against. but I thought the consistency was there, and I was proud to see that at least. Allie, what'd you make of the defense?
Yeah, I mean, as you mentioned, ETSU's first 5 drives ended in 3 and out, so they started strong. They were getting on them in the first quarter. They were 2 for 14, I think, the whole game for third downs.
Yeah.
And they were swarming the backfield. They recorded 3 tackles for loss and a sack in just the first quarter. So this is what you'd want to see. Now, a lot of people are going to say that you can't really count this game to mean anything because of who you're playing, but we're just glad that it didn't look like the opposite because, as you were saying, William, that does happen. So this is exactly kind of what we wanted to see. Now, we'll probably talk about the pieces that we found out will be missing with McCoy and Gibson, but I mean, it's promising to see that this group that we will have next week has looked as good as they have.
We'll switch to the special teams as Boo Carter returned to the punt return game, and Carter returned 4 punts in the first half for a total of 90 yards. He was a block away from housing a punt in the first quarter, but had to settle for 34 yards instead. In the second quarter, Carter made a number of ETSU players miss on a 40-yard return to the 5-yard line, and both returns set up short touchdown drives for the Volunteers. And this was something I wanted to see against Syracuse. Was surprised we did not see against Syracuse, but Boo Carter back full-time at that punt return slot. And this is the type of player that we talked about all summer, how valuable he is. 40 yards on a punt return, 34 yards on a punt return. That gives you really, really good field position. And we saw Boo Carter last year against Georgia have a really big return as well that put Tennessee in plus territory. Those are the type of little things, right? The punt returns, something that's very routine and not talked about enough. Those are the type of things that could flip a game against the University of Georgia, a team that the margin of error is so slim. You've got to execute in other facets and other departments to be able to find a way to win. Getting good field position for a inexperienced quarterback within this system, he's experienced for his career, inexperienced in this system. That's a good opportunity to give you some easy layups to get some points on the board. So Boo Carter being back at punt return, I think is really, really big because of the impact he can give you and just how elusive he is. I mean, I get it. It's ETSU, but he's dancing around. I mean, he is in control. He's very smooth with it. And if 40 yards against ETSU means 20 yards against Georgia, I'm all for it because that's the difference between being at the 20 and the 40. And that's a big deal because now your play calling changes a little bit. Your adjustments can be a little bit easier. You can settle in a little bit better. The punt returns, I know it's a very common practice play in football, but if you can execute and win those type of plays against Georgia, that's a big improvement, a big thing you needed from this Tennessee group, and having that on Saturday was big. What'd you make of Boo Carter?
Boo Carter is an absolute game changer. I mean, they gave him an inch. They're just letting him do punt returns right now, and he took a mile. He did everything he could with it. Josh Heupel specifically said about him that Boo is electric with the ball in his hands. Special team has got to be an area that we win on each Saturday, and the return game is a big part of that. And I think that just shows that Josh Heupel is happy that he's there and that he did exactly what he should have. He had 94 yards on 4 returns. And that, as you were saying, is just a huge, huge game changer. So excited that he's back in that spot.
Yeah, real quick before the break, want to touch on the running backs room as well. We talked about it earlier, at least in my big takeaways, as this running back room continues to impress. Tennessee continued rotating its top 3 running backs throughout the first half, and all had solid moments. Deshaun Bishop goes for 68 yards on just 3 carries, had a big one that he broke off early in this one. Payne Lewis found the end zone for the second straight game. He wasn't as strong in terms of yards per carry, but getting in the end zone is still a successful day. But Star Thomas, as we talked about earlier, was Tennessee's best running back for perhaps the second straight week. Thomas totaled 69 rushing yards on 12 carries with a long run of 17. And Thomas also found the end zone 3 times on the ground. The Duke transfer scored his first touchdown from 2 yards out in the first quarter, then 2 yards out in the second quarter, and then another from 7 yards out in the final minute right before the half. Some good stuff from Star Thomas. I think he's establishing himself really well in this running backs room, being that transfer, being the guy that's already joining a group of guys that were already established last year. I look at him as that utility knife, a guy that you can use out of the backfield as a runner, but also as a pass catcher. And I think that could be really big. And the amount of wrinkles and other things you can add to this offense. We know Bishop is going to be more of just a running back, a guy you just give the ball and go say, make a play. The same with Peyton Lewis. But Star Thomas, I really like the opportunities you have with a halfback screen that we saw run one time for Deshaun Bishop. Maybe switch it up, give Thomas the ball in space and see where that could go. I like the opportunities that you have there play calling wise when he's on the field and all those guys. Even DeJuan Morris, was able to find the end zone on Saturday. The running attack for Tennessee was really good, 276 yards in total for the Volunteers run attack. And again, if you can run the ball this weekend against Georgia, make them go from those light boxes to having to stack the box, and then it puts a lot of pressure on the outside against Tennessee's wide receivers. I think that's where Tennessee's going to find the most success. You go back to last year, Georgia was playing those light boxes. They're saying, beat us on the offensive line, beat us in that second level. Tennessee wasn't able to do that for the entirety of the game. Now, obviously, Dylan Sampson had a couple of really good runs, but if you're able to get the run game established, the offensive line's able to do their job, I really like how things set up on Saturday for the Volunteers. When we come back, we'll talk about this big matchup, Tennessee and Georgia, number 15 versus number 6 inside Neyland Stadium. The hype and anticipation has finally arrived. We'll break it down when we return right here on Overtime, presented by VIP Play on Fan Run Radio.
For the fans, by the fans, this is Fan Run Radio, Knoxville.
Blackford Veterinary Surgery Referral specializes in surgeries not regularly performed by your pet's general veterinarian. They're currently accepting referrals from vets all across the country. With their newly renovated state-of-the-art surgery center and highly trained staff, clients can rely on professional and thorough care. If your vet says that your pet needs surgery or rehab, ask for a referral to Blackford Vet and let them get your best friend back on its feet. Located conveniently in West Knoxville. For more information, visit blackfordvetsurgery.com.
For over 3 years, Crumble Cookies has served the Knoxville area, from Clinton Highway to Parkside Drive. Even our friends out in Maryville have reached you, our fans, with the best cookies in the game. This fall, Crumble is gearing up for yet another fantastic season. Whether you're tailgating or looking for a pick-me-up after getting the kids from school, Crumble has you covered. Download the Crumble app to check out this week's rewards and features. And stop on by. Tell them Fan Run sent you, but don't miss the cookies.
A brand built in Tennessee and born from the love of the game, Inward Half revolutionizes golfing comfort. Crafted by a former pro and dedicated enthusiast just like you, our luxury performance wear guarantees you stay cool and comfortable through every swing and every day. We're not just a brand. We've set out to create a lifestyle for those who understand that impeccable style and premium performance are a hole-in-one. Enjoy the walk-in with Inward Half.
The number one problem we see at our clinic is delaying treatment. ED can get worse.
Book your appointment right now. Call 865-544-8220. Prefer privacy? Book online in under 30 seconds at menspronknoxville.com.
At our clinics, men's sexual health is the whole job. Look, I'm a normal guy too. I hate going to the doctor, but we've helped so many guys in here just like you. Even if pills have failed, our medical team is going to take the time to talk you through it. Same day in-house lab, and the treatments, well, they could change your life.
Your local medical team has your back. ED, performance, Peyronie's, size and shape modeling. We tailor what works for you.
I'll get to the point. Can you imagine epic performance and epic sex? Yeah, I said it.
A stronger you is closer than you think. We're available right now. Call 865-544-8220 or book in 30 seconds or less at menspronknoxville.com. Men's Pro Knoxville, making it happen.
Hey Knoxville! Surfside iced tea and vodka, made with real brewed tea, is only 100 calories, 2 grams of sugar, with no bubbles and no troubles. That's right, zero carbonation, so it's easy to sip and enjoy. Headed to a game day or party at a friend's house? Bring an iced tea or lemonade variety pack from Surfside, or try their green tea and new raspberry tea vodka. Find the can with the sunset stripes this season. Surfside iced tea and vodka, sold at bars, restaurants, and stores near you. Surfside iced tea and vodka, sunshine in a can. Must be 21 or older. Enjoy responsibly.
All right, back here on Overtime. We appreciate you listening along with us, whether it be on the free Fan Run Radio app, 105.7 FM or 1340 AM right here in K-Town on the local dial, or on the X/YouTube live stream. Have your listener watching. We do appreciate your time. And if you're on that YouTube stream, make sure to comment. We'll read your comment over the broadcast and would love to have your participation as well. All right, as you can see on screen, it's Tennessee and Georgia week, the battle that we have been talking about for months and lead up to the season. We knew that Syracuse was going to be a big one because, it's in Atlanta. It's the Aflac kickoff game. You get to see what the team looks like. That's all fun and games. But now is when, you report to duty. This is when the job gets real. SEC football, college game day in town. Tennessee, Georgia, ranked matchup, a top 15 game. This is what it's all about. All summer, we've been talking about this one and how important it is. And following a record-setting win over ETSU, number 15, Tennessee turns its attention to SEC play as the Vols host number 6, Georgia on Saturday in a sold-out Neyland Stadium. Kickoff is set for 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and we'll also feature the return of Checker Neyland, showcasing UT's iconic checkerboard pattern throughout the venue. The national spotlight will be here as well. College game day will be back for the first time since 2022 outside of Harris Hall. And Saturday's contest will also include an on-field salute to VFL John Henderson. Big John Henderson, former Jacksonville Jaguar. Shout out to the Jags this weekend, by the way. As he's being introduced to the College Football Hall of Fame later this fall. He's getting introduced to the crowd during the game, before the game, one of those as well. So a lot going on this weekend. And after morning meetings on Monday, head coach Josh Heupel met with local media to preview the top 15 matchup, and this is what he had to say, saying, quote, "Obviously, we know the test that we have in front of us, facing a really good Georgia football team. It's a great weekend and opportunity for College game day to be here on the biggest stage in college football." And it's really starting to settle in for me. I don't know about you guys, but it's starting to settle in for me. It started settling in maybe late last night. And this morning, walked out of the apartment complex. The Christmas in the air. I don't know what it is. Obviously, during the day it gets a little bit warmer, but I'm inside by then. But around 10 o'clock, shady, 67 degrees. I was like, I love this. This is awesome. This is football weather. You can feel it. And all summer, I talked about how this is Tennessee's best opportunity to beat Georgia. And now a lot of people are jumping on that bandwagon as well because it's kind of like the cards are aligning. But this summer, we talked about how Tennessee and Georgia usually play later in the season. Now this matchup's early. So Tennessee is going to be a 2-0 team, which they are, going into a matchup with a Georgia team that is constantly towards the top of college football in the SEC, have been, won the SEC championship last year, did the Bulldogs. This is a standard. And in order to knock off the standard, a lot of things have got to work in your favor. And one of those is a brand new quarterback in Gunnar Stockton, who is going to be making his first start in a road game in the SEC. First road start, period, as he played in the Sugar Bowl, but that was a neutral site game. It's going to be a road environment for a guy that hasn't been in this setting yet. So that's one thing. The second thing is Georgia has typically struggled in SEC opener road matchups. Kentucky took this team to the wire last year. Kentucky was terrible. Kentucky narrowly had an opportunity to win. If they had better coaching, they could have won. But Georgia beat them 12-10 in that SEC road opener for the Bulldogs last year. They've typically kind of come out of the gates a little bit slow. And I get it. Kentucky's a lot different thing than Tennessee. But if Kentucky with Brock Vandagriff can hold around, I feel like Joey Aguilar, who so far has thrown for over 225 yards a game in his first two outings for the Volunteers, should be in pretty good standing as well. So all of these things combine to what we've also witnessed over the last 2 weeks. We knew all those other things, but now we know that this offense has shown some life. We know that Joey Aguilar has played the part. And if you watch football in Southern California a little bit later at night, you say, maybe we got better at quarterback as UCLA drops to UNLV 0-2 to start the year. Maybe you got the better quarterback out of the deal. Maybe you now are in a better position than you would have been. The running game has been there. The offensive line has done a really good job. And David Sanders, your 5-star recruit, hasn't even played a game yet. Your wide receivers have been surprisingly impressive. I was very hard on them this offseason. And we'll get to see what they're really about on Saturday, but they've done the part. I think right now you have to feel pretty comfortable and pretty good about what you could do on Saturday. I'm not saying necessarily Tennessee is going to win the game, but when you do look at the line movement, it's starting to say maybe Tennessee will win this one. I feel pretty good if I'm Tennessee right now going into Saturday, knowing everything I knew coming in to this season and also adding in what we've already witnessed. I do believe this is Tennessee's best chance to beat the Dogs. They haven't done it in 8 years. This is the spot to get them. Early in the season, new quarterback, first start on the road. You've got the momentum. You've got the crowd behind you. Tennessee better make the most of this opportunity. Allie, would you agree that this is the best chance for Tennessee to get it done?
I have to say, yes, tentatively. Last year, we really thought we could have had a chance. There was so much conversation about it, but that team was, back and forth. This was later into the season. Georgia had kind of formed an identity, and this is different because it's at the beginning of the season. UGA has not fully formed this identity, and they have a new quarterback. This is entirely uncertain. There's new quarterbacks on both sides, and obviously, Georgia gets better and better throughout the season. So it is very exciting that we have this opportunity early in the season with the home field advantage, which, as we know, is huge for Tennessee. And Gunnar Stockton, after last game, talked about his need to improve his confidence. And that is a big thing to hear from a starting quarterback in the middle of the season. So I think it's exciting to know where everyone's heads are at, because it seems like Joey does have that confidence. This is a big opportunity for Tennessee.
Yeah, most definitely. Tyler, best chance for the Vols?
Yeah, 1,000%. 2 years ago, you had a good opportunity, but the team wasn't as strong. You even got off to a 7-0 start, and you couldn't score a touchdown for the rest of the game. That team was significantly weaker than the team you have now. That Georgia team was significantly stronger than the Georgia team that they have now. I think all the cards kind of align in Tennessee's favor. You look at, that line drop from -7 to -3.
Yeah.
It's your checkerboard game. The Vols put up 72 points 2 days ago. Georgia still looking like Georgia, but they don't have, a wow player on their offense, I would say. I mean, Zachariah Branch, I think, is the closest player that they have to someone like a Lad McConkey or a Brock Bowers that they had on that 2023 team. But I look at this Georgia team now, and Gunnar Stockton is fine. I mean, he's a game manager. He understands how to play quarterback, but he's not going to do anything that makes you get out of your seat, right? And I feel like Joey, he's made some plays that get you out of your seat, especially these wide receivers, Mike Matthews, and the defense. And I don't know, something just feels different about this season than it did last year. Last year, it kind of felt like we just wanted to see Nico develop into a player that could lead this team. And it was more so the defense that led that team. Whereas now I feel like you do have a leader behind center. Whereas last year you didn't have that. In 2023, you could argue Joe Milton was a leader, but in order to lead, you have to lead by your play. And I don't think Joe Milton did that for all 12 games in the regular season in 2023. Whereas now we're 2 games in. The defense looks really, really good, better than I expected. Even, battling through all these injuries and whatnot, the defense looks very, very solid. The offense, once again, looks like one of the top units in football. Whereas 2 years ago, last year, you couldn't confidently say that. This team is trending in the right direction. They've only been playing better. I think they looked so much better last week than they did against Syracuse. And some of that could be, attested to the competition and to your opponent. But this team looks, like I said earlier, like a freight train, and they're just going to run over anything that comes in their way. Neyland Stadium's going to be popping. Look at me on TV, College Game Day. Knoxville's going to be fun this weekend, William.
Yeah, it should be. Jackson, do you believe that this is Tennessee's best chance to take down the Dogs?
If I believe it's the best chance they've had in years. I'll put it that way. I don't know that I'm ready to drink the Kool-Aid yet, though. It's I've been in this position before where Tennessee's looked good, and we enter this game against Georgia, and I'm all fired up, thinking there's no way we lose this time, and I've been heartbroken every single way.
Yeah.
So I'm a little hesitant to go all in and say this is the year, but I do think it's the program's best chance in a while.
Yeah. And I think that's the big thing with it right now is, like, I'm not going to give my prediction on Monday and say this is a team that Tennessee's going to win. I'm not here saying that right now. I just say with the opportunity and everything around this game, the storylines, the setting, the environment of Neyland Stadium on Saturday, knowing what we've seen from both teams, I feel like it plays into Tennessee's cards well that this is a Georgia team 3 weeks into the season with a new quarterback and relatively a completely new offense in terms of their weapons. You bring in Zachariah Branch and Noah Thomas, two really talented guys from USC and Texas A&M respectively. And then Colby Young and Dylan Bell come back from last year's team. Oscar Delp, we know, is a playmaker. Nate Frazier returns at running back. They've got a lot of guys. And McCrary comes over from Illinois. This is a good football team. The offensive line has some concerns, but they had concerns last year, big time, heading into that Tennessee game, and ended up looking like the, Chiefs O-line. And, they were really strong. So sometimes in these games, you get the best out of these teams, and stuff you've seen so far through the season doesn't necessarily play out as everyone gets up for this one. And I hate using that kind of term, gets up, but it is true. Where, like, Austin Peay doesn't probably get the best version of Georgia. Tennessee and Neyland Stadium in a big-time matchup on national television is going to get the best out of these guys because they know how big of a game this is. I mean, take away, the analysis and the spreads and what we think of all the storylines, and the grand scheme of things for both teams. The college football playoff is the goal for each of them. For Georgia, it's more so winning the damn thing. For Tennessee, with a brand new quarterback this year that arrived 2 months before the season began, I think making the CFP would be a huge achievement for Josh Heupel and company, showing the progress that this program has made. But this game has serious college football playoff implications. When you look at Tennessee's schedule, it doesn't shape up as hard as like an Oklahoma, who's got to play all ranked teams the rest of the way in their SEC schedule. For Tennessee, you've got Georgia, Alabama, Florida, Oklahoma. Those four teams, you knew that coming into the season. You knew those teams were going to be a difficult game. At Alabama, I don't expect Tennessee to win that. At Florida, we'll see what version of the Gators they get. Oklahoma and Neyland Stadium got really interesting this weekend when John Mateer and company shut down Michigan. This is an opportunity to get a signature win early in the season and be in the driver's seat to get at least an automatic bid in the college football playoff. I'm not saying if Tennessee wins it this weekend, they're in. A lot of football left to be played. Mississippi State crept up on those Sun Devils this weekend, got a win at home. That's a game that Tennessee has to go on the road and play. But I do like how they've already kind of gotten their upset out of the way. I feel like it plays well for Tennessee there. But again, we'll talk about that game when it gets there. But just in terms of the college football playoff, this is really big. Tennessee would really benefit from getting a win this week. And I know I'm stating the obvious there, but just in the grand scheme of things, make things a lot easier if you could go the rest of the way and you lose to Alabama and it's not like, oh my gosh, the season's on red alert, because 9-3 is not going to get you in. Something that.
But even you said lose to Alabama, obviously possible, but even with how Alabama's schedule is looking, I mean, Georgia's by far the hardest game. That's an obvious thing. But after Georgia, it's like Florida. I don't know.
Well, it's like Georgia's the hardest game you got on your schedule, but you get them in your backyard early in the season.
Yeah.
Like you've got an opportunity, right? So that's why I think it really sets up well for the Volunteers, and we'll continue to cover this game throughout the week. It's the biggest one we've talked about up until this point this season. Obviously, it could be the biggest one we talk about all year. Who knows? But really excited for that matchup on Saturday. We'll continue to dive into all the storylines here on Overtime throughout the week. When we come back, however, we've got to recap the action from this past weekend. It's our Best Bets recap presented by VIP Play right here on Fan Run Radio.
When it's past high noon, it's time for a vodka soda made with a vodka you've actually heard of. I'm talking White Claw vodka soda made with White Claw premium vodka. JB Smooth only drinks vodka soda made with the world's smoothest vodka.
And you can too. Pick you up a bottle of the triple wave filtered vodka that's been distilled 5 times. White Claw premium vodka comes in 4 flavors: black cherry, mango, pineapple, and just vodka. You haven't had vodka like this. No one has. White Claw premium vodka. Please drink responsibly.
Rickard Ridge Barbecue, located in beautiful Cove Lake State Park. Rickard Ridge is home of the best ribs in the Volunteer State. Smoked daily by Pitmaster Mark Rickard. The barbecue at Rickard Ridge is mouth-watering, fall-off-the-bone delicious. Take the scenic drive up I-75 to exit 134. For directions and to look at the rest of the menu, visit Rickard Ridge online at rickardridgebbq.com.
We really need to get some branded stuff. Shirts, hats, promo items, something professional.
I mean, we could just find a website and order a bunch of it ourselves.
You could, but you're taking a big risk. You don't know the quality, the fit, the timeline. It's a roll of the dice.
Yeah, I guess, but isn't that how everyone does it now?
Not the ones who actually care about how their brand looks. Look, if we're putting our name on it, it needs to be done right. We need SM Athletics.
SM Athletics?
Yeah, they specialize in working with businesses like ours. Apparel, hats, promo gear, but real, customized stuff. They actually care if it turns out right.
Probably a lot better than getting stuck with 100 t-shirts with crooked logos.
Exactly. Plus, they'll walk you through everything. Sizing, colors, material, so it matches the image we're trying to build.
Makes sense. What's the name again?
SM Athletics. Trust me, if you want to look like a real company, not a flea market stand, this is the move. If you're serious about your brand, work with people who are serious about getting it right. SM Athletics.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
Are you looking for a treat that will knock it out of the park at the next watch party? Just like your favorite baseball team, Crumble brings the best lineup week to week with an expanded roster that includes key lime pie, strawberry cake, or my personal favorite, Monster featuring M&M candies. Let Crumble treat you to the best cookies in the game. Download the Crumble app and start earning rewards. You can even vote monthly on what flavors you would like to see at any store of your choice. Warmer weather is here, so get to the ballpark, but don't miss the cookies.
Got a problem tree looming over your home? Call ECR Total Landscapes. Whether it's trimming, removal, or storm cleanup, our certified pros get the job done safely and efficiently. We're licensed, insured, and ready 24/7 for emergency calls. Big or small, we cut them all. ECR Total Landscapes. Call now for a free estimate, 865-384-2012, and mention promo code FANRUN for free stump grinding on any tree removal now through the end of the year. Also, visit us at ecrtotallandscapes.com.
Presidents to represent me. I'm out for presidents to represent me. I'm out for presidents to represent me. I'm out for presidents to represent me.
All right, back here on Overtime, presented by VIP Play. We appreciate you hanging out with us on this Victory Monday, the Monday before Georgia and Tennessee. A lot of anticipation for this one. All right, Best Bets recap presented by VIP Play. Folks, football season is officially back, which means you need to get in on the action. You might be saying, William, what's the best way to do it? The VIP Play app is the best place for it. Go claim your VIP Play welcome bonus, and when you do, you'll get $100 instantly in bonus bets by using the code FANRUN. That's FANRUN in all caps, and when you bet $5, you'll get $100 in bonus bets instantly. Take the Vols against the Bulldogs this weekend. The line's been moving. Might want to get on it quick as there's some great sharp movement coming in. Use the bets for that. If you're a Tennessee Titans fan, the Titans covered this weekend. A little bit of a gross game, but hey, They covered. So plenty of ways to get on the action, whether you're a Tennessee fan, an NFL fan, or a college football fan, whatever it may be. Get the VIP Play app. Use the code FANRUN in all caps to claim those bonus bets. Gambling problem, call 1-800-889-9789. Must be 21 years or older and located in Tennessee to bet. All right, time for the recap. Had 5 plays on Saturday, and we bounced back. A winning week, always a good sign. Went 3-2, and we'll go down the list, starting with Baylor, +3. We talked about this one all last week. I said, I'm not a fan of SMU. I don't believe the hype. I'm willing to take the +3 here. It goes to overtime. Keep the points. The Bears win outright. Sawyer Robertson was dialed in this one. Iowa, +3.5. That's why you take the hook, and that's why you wait for that hook to come out as the Hawkeyes fall to the Cyclones 16-13. But that hook was really, really important. That +3.5 was key. Kansas +5.5. Gosh, this was really infuriating as Kansas had 21 points in the first quarter, led most of the way. It was kind of back and forth in the fourth, and Missouri took the lead 34-31, and Kansas turns the ball over. Missouri gets the ball back with like 2 minutes left. Missouri's trying to run the ball out, run the clock out, and they ended up taking one 63 yards to the house with about 1:40 to go, meaning our play does not cash. So that was a little bit annoying. So we lose that one. Arizona State -6.5. 17-0 was the score at halftime as the Bulldogs, give them credit, they were ready for this one. Arizona State came out really flat, but the Sun Devils marched all the way back to tie the game up 17 apiece. And instead of punching it in 4 yards away, they had 4 plays to get 4 yards. Arizona State couldn't do it. They settled for a field goal. Mississippi State comes down and gets a big-time touchdown. Blake Shapen looked impressive. Mississippi State wins as an underdog at home. If Arizona State just punched it in, yet 4 plays, 4 yards. Not that difficult. Not that difficult at all, but they couldn't get it done. So we lost that one. So we're 2-2 heading into that Oklahoma matchup, and Oklahoma -5. I told you on Friday I was for sure taking, and that was a pretty sweat-free cash. The Sooners came out defensively, dialed in, got a lot of big-time hits. John Mateer was really, really impressive. 3 total touchdowns, 2 on the ground, 1 in the air, 270 yards. He was really, really impressive. And, I was really big on him this offseason as a top 10 quarterback. I had him at like number 6 or 7, one of those. And he played really well. Bryce Underwood, tough matchup to have your second game of your career, but I thought he did well. Just the offense just had a really tough time going up against that Brent Venables defense. So 3-2 on the weekend. It's a positive weekend. That's always a good sign. We'll be back once again on Friday and Saturdays. We got a game on Friday, Colorado and Houston. But we'll continue talking about those bets this week. Make sure you're downloading that VIP Play app. Gambling problem, call 1-800-889-9789. Must be 21 years or older. And located in Tennessee to bet. When we come back in hour number 2, we'll recap a fun weekend of college football, our takeaways from week 2. And also, we'll talk about the banger game we got last night in the NFL on Sunday Night Football. The Ravens and Bills go down to the wire. And once again, it was the Bills on top. We'll break it down when we return right here on Fan Run Radio.
Follow us on Twitter or X or whatever the they're calling it these days at Fox Sports Knox. Fox Sports Knoxville. Fan Run Radio.
Located in Knoxville's historic Old City, Barley's offers great food, live music, the best draft beer selection in town, and now your new favorite place to watch sports. Their indoor projector is perfect for any weather, and they've revamped their upstairs area with more TVs to take in all of the action. Their menu features hand-battered chicken tenders, juicy burgers, fresh salads, and the tastiest pizza in Knoxville. You can enjoy their happy hour drink specials daily from open until 6 p.m. Barley's Tap Room and Pizzeria.
Got a problem tree looming over your home? Call ECR Total Landscapes. Whether it's trimming, removal, or storm cleanup, our certified pros get the job done safely and efficiently. We're licensed, insured, and ready 24/7 for emergency calls. Big or small, we cut them all. ECR Total Landscapes. Call now for a free estimate, 865-384-2012, and mention promo code FANRUN for free stump grinding on any tree removal now through the end of the year. Also, visit us at ecrtotallandscapes.com.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Tired of waiting for the weekend or good weather to play around? From casual to committed, Back Nine Golf has got you covered. Open to the public and offering flexible membership opportunities, they offer 24/7 access to 5 different simulators, providing cutting-edge technology, instant swing feedback, fun mini games, and a wide variety of courses to choose from. Perfect for that solo round you want after work, or swing by with food and drinks for an afternoon with friends and family. No stressful tee times, no rain delays. It's Back Nine Golf your way. Book your tee time now at theback9golf.com.
Hi, this is Bo Kregner from the Kregner Group at Realty Executives, and I know there's a lot of choices here in East Tennessee when it comes to choosing a realtor. Here's why the Kregner Group is different. At the Kregner Group, our motto is walking by faith, serving others. It's how I live my life. It's how I run my business. Here at the Kregner Group, we're committed to doing real estate the right way. Faith, honesty, integrity. The Kregner Group. Call me anytime at 865-742-1035 or visit my website at bonowshouses.com.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville and W289CU Knoxville. Fan Run Radio.
Yee-haw! I've been hooting and hollering ever since I started betting with the VIP Play app. VIP Play has more than 200 leagues, every bet type you can imagine, live betting and live hosts, all with 24/7 support from real live people when you need them. Start betting better with the VIP Play app today.
Don't be a better, be a better with VIP Play today.
Download VIP Play today or head to VIPPlayApp.com. Make sure you use the promo code FANRUN to take advantage of their welcome bonus and so they know that we sent you. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-88-99789. Must be 21 or older and located in Tennessee to bet.
Not a cat.
The buzzer has sounded. We are headed to overtime with William Pattison on Fox Sports Knoxville. This is Fan Run Radio.
Here we go. Hour number 2 on a Victory Monday live from the White Claw Hard Seltzer Studios. It's overtime, presented by VIP Play. We appreciate you listening along with us, however you may be doing it. Great stuff in hour number 1. We'll continue it here in hour number 2, as we'll give our week 2 takeaways from college football. Also talk about the Ravens' epic collapse to the Bills on Sunday Night Football. We've got a Ravens fan in the building. Tyler, a big Ravens guy. Baltimore or Maryland native. I don't know if he's from Baltimore or not. Are you from Baltimore? You're like around Baltimore, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But a Maryland person. He's never talked to me. He doesn't talk about it much, so I did want to put that out there that he's from Maryland. And then we got our final thoughts as well, so plenty to cover hour number 2. Real quick, during the break, Allie and I were talking about dogs and cats. I don't know what you guys stand on this. I cannot stand cats.
I don't like the cats that don't like you back, but my cat, his name is Paul. He's awesome.
Paul, such a government name for a cat.
It's perfect. It's fitting for him. He's very cuddly, loves spending time with us. He's like the dog of cats. So
Paul sounds like he's a part-time professor somewhere. Like he leaves the house and goes and teaches at like Kennesaw State or something. Like,
I mean, hey, we don't keep up with his business when he's not at home. You know, he could be.
Interesting. I imagine like Paul's got. You have some spectacles or something.
No, it's more kind of like he's like a cool cat.
Okay, cool cat.
Does he wear like?
So he's got like a backwards hat then. Is he a backwards hat guy?
If he were to wear clothes, that's what he would wear.
Okay. Tyler, Jackson, where y'all stand on cats?
Well, I've never been a cat person.
Yeah.
I've always had a dog. Well, I've had a dog since the 3rd grade. Still alive till this day. Shout out Piper, my little Shih Tzu. She's awesome. But my girlfriend got a cat around like a month ago.
Oh no.
It was a cat that didn't have a home. It was just like roaming around in her
A stray cat.
It was just roaming around in her like apartment complex area. And someone found it, brought her to the front desk and goes, "All right, well, trying to find this little guy a home. We'll give it away for free." She, being the kind, sweet young lady that she is, she takes the cat in. His name's Benji.
Benji.
And Benji is probably a pound, like 1 pound right now, and he's a very, very adorable cat.
Is Benji short for Benjamin?
No.
Does he have a government name?
No, okay. It's Benji after she named him after the Pitch Perfect character, Benji.
Oh. Allie, do you know anything about? I don't watch Pitch Perfect. I don't know.
You don't know the guy in the Troublemakers, the guy who does the magic, and he's saying, "I got the magic in me." He had his little solo at the end of Pitch Perfect 1.
I've definitely seen the movie, but I'm not like an expert.
Yeah,
for some reason, like Tyler's seen a lot of it.
I have. I've seen all the musicals. Wicked, High School Musical. You mean one of the greatest movies of my childhood? Yeah.
Oh God.
He's well educated.
High School Musical is great.
Jackson, do you watch High School Musical growing up?
No.
I feel like that's more of a. I like Disney Channel, but I wasn't watching High School Musical growing up.
What were you watching growing up?
I would skip all the Disney Channel movies.
You're telling me that you didn't watch like Camp Rock or Lemonade Mouth or?
I mean, I watched them, but I wouldn't say like they're anywhere near the greatest movies of my childhood.
Well, then I'm
the greatest movies of my childhood are Cars. Like Cars is one of the GOAT movies.
Okay,
Cars
I agree.
Cars, Toy Story. I like Monsters University more than I like Monsters Inc.
See, I'm not a monsters person.
Well, they're fictional. Animated.
No, I know. I was just referring to like the overall instead of like the ink and
like I thought you were saying like you're afraid of them.
No,
like, afraid of the monsters.
I just don't. I never got into those.
Mike Wazowski is pretty intimidating. I'll say
the short green one.
Yeah, I'm
not the big.
That's Sully, right?
Yeah,
Sullivan. Yeah,
his government name.
Yeah, that is his government name. I like that. I like government names.
But anyways, yeah.
Back to
she has a cat, and Benji's adorable, and he's a little demon. Sometimes he's got claws, and he likes to climb. But
little demon.
Cats have grown on me. Yeah, he is. He's just like a little fireball.
Is he friendly?
Yes. He always just wants to play, but his idea of playing is clawing you and biting you. It doesn't hurt. Just like a little 1 pound cat or kitten.
Yeah.
But I like him now.
Mm-hmm. You had a tough start?
No. We've had a very good start so far.
Well, you say you like him now.
I like him now.
But like at one point you didn't.
What I'm getting is that I don't know if I'll like him in like 5 years when he evolves into like a cat, like a real cat. Like,
keep us posted on his status.
I will.
Yeah.
I will. But overall, I am a dog person. But with new Benji, I've found a newfound appreciation for cats.
Okay.
Everyone I've introduced Paul to has said that he has changed their mind on cats. So I think we just need to like pass Paul around and let everyone experience a friendly, loving, cuddly cat.
Paul and Benji. Any animals for you, Jackson?
I'm a big dog guy. I always have been.
Okay.
I have 2 at home, a border collie and a lab. I don't mind cats. I mean, they're fun to play with sometimes. They're cute, but my family's pretty allergic to them.
No, I am too.
I personally, if I touch a cat, I have to thoroughly wash my hands before touching anywhere on my face.
But not dogs?
No.
Those things ral me up, man.
Yeah. So I definitely have to say I'm more of a dog person.
What, is that funny?
No, I mean, that's interesting.
That cat, I have a cat allergy?
Yeah, I thought it was like cats and dogs are like.
Well, I'm allergic to both of them.
No,
yeah.
Cats have something different in their fur than dogs do.
Cats mess me up more than dogs. Dogs I can handle for a minute, but cats, woo man! Walking to someone's house with a cat and it's fair game for my eyes.
Wow, they're like tiny though.
Well, that doesn't mean they don't shed.
So is it like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Not like I don't look at it and I'm like, oh my gosh, like the presence of the cat makes me alert. It's the shedding.
Makes you nervous.
Yeah.
Okay. You should get a hypoallergenic dog, like the poodle.
Well, I did. I had Fluffy was Maltese.
Are those hypo?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah, but more time than not, I'd get the allergies from all the the crap he'd bring in from like outside, like, pollen and dust. Ooh.
You're a walking allergy.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I am,
yeah.
It all evens out one day. It really will. That's always what I've told myself. All the bad things that have happened, it all evens out. So
I'm rooting for you, Will.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Tyler. All right, let's switch over from my allergies to what went down this weekend in college football. Week 2, not as good of a slate as week 1, but hey, there was a lot of big games week 1. It was a very hard and steep bar to surpass this weekend, but there was some some good action. Let you guys kind of give your takeaways. I know you had I kind of said pinpoint a couple of ones, and I'll kind of touch on them all. Just to kind of focus a little roundtable discussion here. Allie, you said you want to talk about a big one, a very big one for Tennessee fans, and also just the college football world. One of the biggest upsets of the weekend went to
South Florida versus Florida Gators. Oh my gosh, I was kicking my feet watching this on the couch. So excited for South Florida, or USF. I don't know what they like to be called, but this is their second ranked win of the season and first coming to Boise State, so I wasn't exactly happy about that. But this one was very, very exciting. So much to get into here. With a healthy DJ Lagway, Florida expected a very successful season. There were a lot of high expectations going into this. And what really, I think, was the turning point was when the Florida players spit in the USF's the South Florida player's face late in the fourth quarter to be set back 15 yards and then not be able to maintain possession of the ball and have to allow South Florida to kick for a field goal, and that ended up winning the game. So I think this is a big reflection point for that player. They said that he was crying in the locker room, as you should be. I mean, that is a pretty rough decision to make the game turn the way that it did. But as soon as that happened, I was like, we are getting College Game Day. And that's exactly what happened. This was a huge one for the SEC. Poor Billy Napier. The shouts of "Fire Billy" are back. But, this is a South Florida team that's coming in hot, and they have a challenging schedule. They head to Miami next week, but, maybe they could do it again. That would be, I believe, the 5th team to ever start the season 3-0 against ranked teams. So that would be huge. They look unstoppable.
Well, here's the thing with Florida, and it's kind of the same thing I talked about last week with Alabama. Discipline, play calling, consistency, all was absent for the Gators. I like DJ Lagway a lot. I like this team a lot. I don't love their play calling, and I don't love the way they go about each play. You're in a dire situation at home with 2 minutes left to go. You cannot have one of your players spitting on another guy. Jalen Carter did that on Thursday Night Football between the Cowboys and Eagles. That was one thing. That was early in the game. Not with the game on the line. Like, that stuff just cannot happen. So outside of that big moment, there were other moments throughout the game where you're just scratching your head. Why does Florida continue to put themselves in this spot? Multiple touchdowns called back because of penalties, holding, illegal formation, just stupid stuff. Dropping passes in the end zone, one uncovered. Rylos, the tight end, had a walk-in touchdown go right through his hands. And Florida had to settle for a number of field goals instead of touchdowns. If you're able to cash in the red zone, you're not sitting here on Monday, talking about how Florida is maybe a lot of fool's gold. I still don't look. I will say this. I don't think Florida is completely done with yet. I think they could go on the road this weekend and ruffle some feathers against LSU. I know that's a tall task. It might seem crazy right now, but it's one of those games where you step up to that moment. And it could be a loss to South Florida that levels your head and makes you realize we've got to be a lot cleaner. They go play Miami here in 2 weeks. That's another opportunity. The good thing about Florida is they've got opportunities the rest of the way. The bad thing is they've got too talented of a roster to keep on making the same bonehead mistakes every weekend. The play calling is vanilla as hell. It's so predictable. And then it's also just so out of mind when they decide to on 3rd and 8 when they're trying to run the clock out before USF gets the ball, take a seam shot down the field. Like, you know, the first 2 plays of that drive, you'd run the ball, trying to milk the clock down as USF only had 1 timeout. You're trying to force them into a tough situation, and you're launching a moon ball down the field. DJ Lagway did not have his best game, but his receivers didn't help out either. Had a couple of really significant drops, and there were a couple of plays that were perfectly timed that just did not, come to fruition. Execution, a big part of that. But Florida's too talented of a team to be losing to South Florida in week 2 at home. That's the first Florida school to beat Florida in Gainesville other than Miami or Florida State ever. South Florida's never done it. There's never been, an FIU or FAU, any of those teams, and that goes all the way back. Florida State and Miami, the only 2 teams that have beat Florida inside Ben Hill Griffin Stadium within the state. Florida's done a really good job against those out-of-state or those in-state teams that are not on that same level. Now South Florida's on that level because they allowed them to get to that point. Very disappointing performance from the Gators, and they got a lot to think about heading into LSU, and that's not going to be an easy one at all.
What's with Florida always, or a player always making some boneheaded mistake?
Yeah, Marco Wilson a couple of years ago against LSU threw the shoe. How stupid was that?
I don't know if they're teaching discipline to these players or not, but I mean, it seems like Billy Napier has no grip of his football team right now. And when you have as much talent as they do, like you said, William, there's no excuse for you to lose, especially at home. And I don't know if it's a culture thing. I don't know if it's a discipline thing. I don't know if it's a mental thing, but these are mistakes that, they happened in week 2, but they're going to turn into habits if you don't fix it quickly. And I think Florida, I mean, this is a team that has so much talent, but Florida played bad, but I also think USF just played extremely, extremely well. And I think it's proper that, we give credit where credit is due, that USF was the better football team on Saturday.
I would disagree personally. I think Florida was the better team. They just got in their own way. Like they tripped over their own shoe too many times. They had a safety on a punt snap. Goes 5 miles over his head, ends up in the end zone. You got to eat a safety there. I thought I'll give South Florida credit in this sense. I thought that they managed the game well for all of the mistakes that Florida made. I thought they did well in the line of scrimmage, and they were prepared for that final minute drill. They were prepared in all those aspects. I wouldn't say they're the better team. I mean, I know a lot of people were, crossing over from Tennessee or maybe didn't get the chance to watch the Florida game until late in that second half. But Florida just continued to get in their own way. And I think if you go and read the box score and say, this amount of missed passes, this amount of turnovers, this and that, I mean, I thought Florida it was a slow death to where they continue to put themselves in a deeper hole. And when you allow a team like South Florida that is talented and is well coached and can hang around in a game like that, you let a team hang around too long, they're going to come back and get you.
1,000%.
And when Florida continue to go in the red zone and stall and have to take field goals, that's where you allow an upset to happen. And that's exactly what happened on Saturday.
And I do think there is a fine line between being outplayed versus being outcoached and just being more prepared for a game like this. USF was more prepared.
You can say they're outcoached, yeah.
Yeah, 1,000%. And you see good football teams, great football teams lose games where they looked like the better team all the time. But it all comes down to the habits that you build, your preparation leading up to the game. And it does seem like USF were more suited to win this game than Florida. Now, talent-wise and the offense and the defense, you could make a case for Florida. And honestly, after what you said, I would kind of side with you on that. But I do think it all starts with the head coach and the culture that you built. And I think USF came into Gainesville knowing their identity and knowing that this is a game that they very well could win and a game that they honestly, quite frankly, should win in their own heads. And the media didn't know that. So hats off to USF for being prepared and for knocking the team when they're down.
Any other takeaways from you from a game this week? Any other games you had your eye on?
Yeah, it's not more so a game. It's more of a team. Your Clemson Tigers
Okay.
Really, really, really disappointed in them. I mean, yeah, they ended up winning and they won fairly well, but that first half was disastrous. If it weren't for an interception that deflected off someone's knee, like that could completely change the game for Clemson. They got turnovers that helped them get back into that ball game, but they did not look like a good team at all on Saturday. And going back to the LSU game too, they weren't a good team there either. Sure, their defense looked good, but they just look like a complete mess right now. This is a Clemson team that you projected to be a top team in all of college football. They haven't looked like a top team in college football for the first 8 quarters of their season. Interested to see how Clemson bounces back, but being down 16-3 at halftime against Troy at home, that's really concerning. I don't really care if they won or lost that game. It's still a bad look overall. My perception on Clemson took a full 180.
Well, look, I think it's easy to look at the scoreboard and say, yeah, I mean that's an unimpressive start, and they have not been impressive for the first 2 quarters, and or excuse me, 2 games, and I can't necessarily push back on that, but I just think that when you play these high-level games week in and week out, Clemson played LSU last week. What do you think of LSU right now? LSU is a top team in the country. Clemson played them, really close. And I know LSU dominated that second half, but if you believe LSU is a top-tier team in the country, then the team that held them to 17 points needs some respect as well.
Sure.
I just think when you have these big-time games, it's easy to overlook your opponent. They've got a big matchup to the Tigers with Georgia Tech this weekend on the road, a look-ahead spot. And as you continue to expand these conferences and add more Power 4 games, the group of 5 ones don't necessarily stick out to these teams anymore. And they think they can just waltz in there and win. And guys like Goose Crowder, who have been around, the country for Troy, this is a big opportunity for him. I thought he played well. And Troy's put together a couple of good Power 5 or Power 4 transfers over the last couple of years as well. Devontae Ross now at Penn State. He was a Troy Trojan last year. I'm just saying, look, I'm not freaking out over a sloppy week 2 where Georgia fumbled with Austin Peay for a good bit. That was 21-6 going in the fourth quarter. Austin Peay's an FCS team. But I'm not sitting here on Monday saying, Georgia's in trouble. They look terrible against Austin Peay. I don't take much stock in these little tune-up games. Unless you lose, I could care less because all that matters is what you look like against the quality opponents. And now, if Clemson looks like that again this weekend and loses against Georgia Tech, I'll put the hand up and say they're not that good of a team, and I overprojected them. But I just think, struggling teams like that is more of a storyline and stuff to put out, for people to talk about than it's an actual concern. I want to see what it looks like against a quality opponent, and when the lights are on, can they show up? I thought for the most part they showed up against LSU. Second half, the offense did not, but I thought the defense did their job. I mean, TJ Parker and Peter Woods were constantly in the backfield. They put a lot of pressure on Garrett Nussmeier. I thought Ashton Hampton had a tough day, but he bounced back on Saturday with that interception and gave Clemson a lot of momentum. I think the offense is a big concern, but not having Antonio Williams, a top 4 wide receiver in the country, has definitely hit them, and you can tell in those matchup adjustments.
I agree with what you said about obviously not taking into account a slow start. That happens to a lot of teams. But in a game like this against Troy, when you're at home, when you were 5 touchdown favorites, you only outgained them by 15 yards, total yards. Your yards per pass was 8.2. Theirs was 7.2. Your yards per rush was 3.9. Theirs was 2.4. Marginally, they're not there. But when you look at the big picture, sure, they're more talented, and it's early, and they're still 1-1, and they're still going to be a top 10 ranked team. But that's because of the hype that people like you, William, and the public have of Clemson coming into the season. Everyone believed that they were going to be an elite team, especially with them playing in the ACC. But when there's a game like this, when you're like statistically and watching the game too, Clemson is a better and more talented team. But in the margins, in the statistical categories, and on the third downs, and on the efficiency side of things. Troy was 5 for 13 on third down. Clemson was 5 for 12. These are all small things that 2 weeks ago against LSU, they weren't winning in either. So the fact that you barely pulled this one out against not a great Troy team at home, it does leave me with a lot of concerns. Now, if this was a game where you were tied at halftime or you were up by 1 at halftime, and then you ended up winning by 20, we'd be having a different conversation. But they looked awful in that first half. And if it wasn't for 3 interceptions by Troy's quarterback, we could be talking right here about how Clemson just got upset and they're off to an 0-2 start. It's the small things that make a team good, and Clemson has not been doing the small things good for the first 2 weeks.
Well, I think you make a couple of good points with the the margins and talking about what they struggled against LSU and comparing it to Troy. But, again, I'm not doing backflips over these games against minimal opponents. Am I supposed to be, running down the street saying Alabama's going to win the national championship just because they put up 70 against ULM? I could care less what Ty Simpson looked like. I saw what he looked like against Florida State, and I wasn't that impressed. So I just think Tennessee, I don't think anything more of Tennessee after this weekend against ETSU. They played well against Syracuse. They did their job against ETSU, even if they came out and only won by 20. I wouldn't be that worried. I mean, no one's talking about Austin Peay and how,
But do you think anything more or less of Clemson after the first 2 weeks?
I think less of them offensively. I still think defensively they're good as long as they're able to get a little less handsy in the secondary. But offensively, I want to see what this group looks like when Antonio Williams is fully healthy and available. And he didn't play on Saturday. And if they're able to come out and beat Georgia Tech on the road, a Georgia Tech team that is off to a good start, they've got a good experienced quarterback, then I think if they're able to beat Georgia Tech, we're back on the same track as they should be, winning their games.
So in a similar way, you don't feel any different about Georgia after this week, or any bit more confident about this week's game after their...
No, Georgia's a good football team. I know that. I don't care if it's easier to look at a scoreboard against Austin Peay and say, well, I only beat them by 15 or 20, whatever it may be. Sure, they can win by more. I know when the game is at the biggest moment that Georgia is going to be damn good. And I know that Georgia is going to be good this weekend. If we want to play that game, then why is Tennessee not a 2-touchdown favorite after beating ETSU by 50 and Georgia only beat their FCS opponent by 20?
Well, because the public also understands the history between these two teams. And every year you see these different conversations between, hey, can Tennessee win this big game? Can they beat the Alabama? The past 2 years at home, they have beaten Alabama. I promise you next year, when they come to Knoxville, Tennessee is going to be a favorite in that game. If not, it's going to be damn close to a pick'em.
Because they're a good team.
Right, exactly. But my point is that, and I'm not trying to, discredit your opinion here about not feeling more confident going into Georgia after we just put up 72 points, because that's a game that you should put up 50 plus points on. You were 40-point favorites in that game. But it's all about the little things that teams do. ETSU didn't have a first down on their first 5 drives. We outgained them 300 plus yards to 16 in the first quarter. I saw a graphic on it on the scoreboard. Those are things that good teams do. And I'm not saying that Clemson isn't a good team, and I don't want to go back to Clemson. I'm just trying to get this point straight that good teams prove that they are good teams week in and week out. And yes, Antonio Williams plays a massive factor in their offense. Their defense looks very, very stout. Arguably a top 5 defense right now in college football, based off, taking into account how good they looked in week 1 against LSU. But when good teams squeak out wins against bad teams, and the week before that, they don't win a game that 80% of the public had them winning, that raises eyebrows. And I think that it would be unfair to judge Clemson not any differently after these first 2 weeks. And you could say that about a handful of other teams that have underperformed. You could say that about Kansas State, who has underperformed over the first
Kansas
2
State's
weeks.
dog water.
Yeah, they're bad, but this is a team that had expectations, now not nearly as high as a Georgia, but Alabama's another one that some people were I guess over evaluating, thinking that they were going to be one of these great teams, and you saw what they looked like against a good team, and now Florida State is now a top 12 team in college football. Things can change, but it all depends on how you start in the season, because that sets the tone for the remainder of the year. I'm not moved on Clemson right now unless they give me a reason to put my faith in them again. And if I want to jump back on that Clemson bandwagon, can't be a 3-point win. And I know wins are wins in college football. That's all that matters. Get 10 of them and you're in the college football playoffs. But I got to see something from Clemson that makes me think that, they're a top team in college football again. And with the whole Tennessee thing, if Tennessee beats Georgia, then we're going to be sitting here next week talking about how Tennessee's a top team in college football. And in that Tennessee-Georgia game, that game doesn't matter how you win. In this Clemson-Georgia Tech game, I think it 100% matters how you win.
Well, I think Clemson understands that. They've got to go and beat a good Georgia Tech team. If they do, you're 2-1, and you've got plenty of opportunities the rest of the way in a ACC that I think is manageable, and might have a little bit of a tougher stretch than you had anticipated, with both Miami and Florida State seeming to be on a good level of standing right now. Louisville could be an interesting team as well, but I'm not selling Clemson stock 2 weeks into the season, even if they were a little bit unimpressive in the first half against Troy. Did shut out the Trojans 24-0 in the second half. All right, when we come back, we'll switch over to the NFL. The Ravens and Bills last night, an absolute classic of a game. We'll break down what went down, and we'll ask the question, is that the best NFL game we've seen in the regular season ever? We'll talk about it when we return right here on Fan Run Radio.
For the fans, by the fans, this is Fan Run Radio, Knoxville.
Hi, this is Bo Kregner from the Kregner Group at Realty Executives, and I know there's a lot of choices here in East Tennessee when it comes to choosing a realtor. Here's why the Kregner Group is different. At the Kregner Group, our motto is walking by faith, serving others. It's how I live my life. It's how I run my business. Here at the Kregner Group, we're committed to doing real estate the right way. Faith, honesty, integrity. The Kregner Group. Call me anytime at 865-742-1035 or visit my website at bonoshouses.com.
Have you ever found yourself wishing your clothes looked brand new again? Whether it's your favorite suit, that little black dress, or your comfy winter coat, Crown Cleaners can make it happen. From stubborn stains to delicate fabrics, the expert team at Crown Cleaners uses the latest cleaning technology to ensure your clothes come back looking and feeling fresh. Visit one of their 2 area locations, Kingston Pike on Bearden Hill or South North Shore Drive near Dunkin' Donuts. Online at crowncleaners.com. Crown Cleaners, a tradition of excellence.
Believe in family. Believe in your fellow man. Believe in honesty and an honest day's work. We do. We're Farm Bureau Insurance. And we don't just believe in Tennessee. We believe in Tennesseans. Farm Bureau Insurance, Tennessee's insurance company.
This is Baseball VFL Cody Brown. Farm Bureau Insurance is the official insurance for Tennesseans. Believe in me for all of your insurance needs. Give me a call at 865-992-3871.
Attention service members and veterans. Introducing the Griffin Law Firm, your trusted ally in military legal matters. From court-martials to benefit claims, at Griffin Law, your mission is their mission. Here's VFL Marshall Griffin.
As a veteran and retired military attorney, I've successfully defended lifelong benefits and helped preserve professional futures. So I know that when you hire a military justice lawyer, you maximize your chance to get relief. With my unique experience, I can advocate for you because there's no military matter that's too big or too small. Let us help you make these critical decisions that could affect the rest of your life. Remain silent. Request counsel. Call Griffin Law.
For a free consultation, call 888-707-4282. That's 888-707-4282. 4282 or just visit griffinlawdefense.com.
Ready to launch your career? Axle Logistics is a leading third-party logistics company where excellence is an energy. With an award-winning culture, Axle proves that positive outcomes come from a positive environment and a work hard, play hard mentality. At Axle, the drive for success is infectious. And with an uncapped commission structure, hard work isn't just noticed, it's rewarded. For those with big goals and even bigger dreams, Axle Logistics is the place to start your career.
Every day I'm hustling, 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 every day I'm hustling. Who you suckers think you're tripping with? Yes, I'm the boss. 745, white on white, that's Rick Ross.
All right, back here on Overtime, presented by VIP Play. Hi, if you're listening or watching, we do appreciate your time. Live on the free Fan Run Radio app, 105.7 FM, 1340 AM, here in K-Town on the local dial, or on the X/YouTube live stream. How you're listening or watching, we do appreciate your time. All right, folks, let's talk some NFL. We'll do our full takeaways tomorrow, as we still got action tonight between the Vikings and the Bears. Not taking a side as I'm staying away from NFL, but I do like Kevin O'Connell and the Vikings tonight to disrupt the Ben Johnson debut. Hey, by the way, Tyler, do you remember this summer when we talked about the Lions? And when I said that they're going to take a step back? They didn't look too good yesterday.
They did not look good at all. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Though.
Yes, yeah. Might have to bring Jeremy in for that too, because y'all were all three of y'all were kind of on heels about it.
Week 1, no overreactions. However, I did see a stat without Sean McVay or Ben Johnson as Jared Goff's coach or offensive coordinator. He is 0-19-1.
Well, that's what happens when the motivator coach has to actually start doing stuff. It helps when Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson are doing everything for you. Let's go out there and play tough guys doesn't work when you're trying to be a contender. But we'll, again, talk more about that tomorrow. That should be fun. All right. One of the games of all time we witnessed last night as the rematch of last season's AFC divisional round game between the Baltimore Ravens and Buffalo Bills did not disappoint, as quarterback Josh Allen and the Bills erased a fourth quarter 15-point deficit to win 41-40 over the Ravens. Once again, for the second straight game, sending the Ravens home in just, I don't know, a loss for words, even though I will say Lamar Jackson handled himself well last night at the press conference. Takeaways from last night's thriller. Obviously, Tyler's going to have a lot on this, so I'll try to be quick, but I think the Bills, as much fun as last night was, the Bills' defense is terrible. The secondary, I think, really showed their ass, and this is not a group that I think is necessarily better than last year. I think Josh Allen, just doing his greatness, is able to will them to certain points, but I don't think the receivers are that strong, and I thought that showed for much of this game. I think it's more so just the Ravens keeping them along the lines of this one. You miss an extra point. You obviously have the fumble from Derrick Henry in opponent's territory, gives the Bills an easy opportunity. But even the Ravens secondary at times I thought played really soft. And, obviously you're trying to prevent big pass plays, but it felt like every time the Bills had to make a big pass play late in that game, Jair Alexander, who was dressed up like a roadblock last night. Did you see that, Tyler? Did you see the picture of Jair Alexander?
I completely erased Jair Alexander from my memory. So
he looked like a roadblock last night. I saw a post on Twitter. I mean, good gosh, he's got to get some better swag than that. But again, and then look, this is a chippy game, and I thought the chippiness more so favored the Ravens in this one early on because it kind of set the tone of they still remember the taste of last year in their mouth and were kind of setting the tone. 40-25, though, with 5 minutes left in the game. That's a winnable game.
3.5 minutes left in the game.
Yeah. That's a winnable spot. And Lamar Jackson played really, really well. I mean, he's still in MVP form. Derrick Henry is just a timeless piece in the NFL. I think he's one of the best running backs we'll ever see in the NFL, and I don't know if we'll have another one like him with the longevity that he has. But I thought both secondaries really were weak last night. I thought the Ravens struggled to get the type of pass rush necessary in that second half to prevent Josh Allen from extending plays. I thought the Bills had a couple of good moments, but Lamar Jackson, just being as elusive as he is, was able to extend a couple of really, really impressive plays. I kind of felt like I was just watching just a shootout of two quarterbacks that when they're dialed in can make the biggest plays on the biggest stage. I think I'd be a little bit more worried with the Bills defense than I would with the Ravens, but game management continues to be a problem for Baltimore. And regardless of how good of a team you have, if you cannot find ways to finish games, you will not ever grace the AFC Championship game. And that kind of seems to be the story with this group right now. Allie, something to add?
Yes, before Tyler jumps in with all of his many thoughts, I'm sure, I just want to jump in with a stats that I found absolutely insane. With 7:56 left in the fourth quarter, the Ravens averaged 11.75 yards per carry and 9.7 yards per play, and they still lost the game. I just thought that was wild.
It is wild. It is wild. Tyler, all right, you've been quiet. Go.
I want to start this off by saying that Josh Allen is phenomenal. And I would be doing myself a disservice not coming on here and saying how he just played lights out. I mean, this is arguably the best quarterback in football. I think Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen are the 1A's quarterbacks of the NFL, and then there's a gap. I mean, Burrow isn't there yet. Mahomes, sorry, but Mahomes hasn't looked like the best quarterback in the NFL in some time. These two quarterbacks played their asses off, and Josh Allen deserves all of the hype and the credit to him because he single-handedly, with a little bit of help and some luck, brought the Bills back into this football game. The Ravens are a mentally weak football team. They have been a mentally weak football team for the past decade. You cannot have as many F-ups in this football game and expect to win. The first mess-up was Jair Alexander. The second mess-up was Derrick Henry fumbling. The third mess-up was Tyler Loop kicking a field goal, or missing the extra point, excuse me. The fourth mess-up was Keon Coleman somehow scoring on that 4th and 2 on the 5-yard line where the ball deflected up into the middle of the air, and he just came down with it somehow. Another mess-up was the end of the second quarter where you let Josh Allen go down the field in 30 seconds with no timeouts and get a field goal. The final 3 drives of the game were a mess-up. Trenton Simpson on a beautiful punt by Jordan Stout that would have been down in the 5-yard line. Simpson falls on it and rolls into the end zone instead of throwing it back. Mm-hmm. Poor special teams mess up there. Another mess-up was the Bills on the first kick return of the game going 50 yards. 2 dropped interceptions. Way too many errors from this Ravens team. And once again, it costs them. They're the most undisciplined team that I have ever watched.
Wow.
Ever watched. I don't know if it's a John Harbaugh thing. I don't know if it's a defensive scheme thing. I don't know if it's a culture thing. They're so undisciplined, it loses them at least 3 games every single year, including the playoffs. And one of them come in the playoffs every single year. The Ravens are a fantastic football team. They put up 40 points in essentially 3 quarters. They rushed for 200-plus yards again on the ground. To be exact, they had 238 rushing yards on 29 attempts, 8.2 rushes per carry. The Ravens had the highest big play rate in the NFL in a decade. And big play rate is plays of 25-plus yards.
They did have a lot, yeah.
30% of their play. No, excuse me. I saw a stat. I'll have to go fact check it, but it was something like 30% of the Ravens' plays, 5 yards or more, was a big play. That is absurd. The Ravens' offense looked unstoppable, and they virtually were unstoppable until John Harbaugh and Todd Monken decided to take the ball out of Lamar Jackson's hands. It's a culture thing that the Ravens cannot shake. They don't know how to close games. John Harbaugh doesn't know how to manage the clock. They snapped the ball on that final drive that they had. Before Derrick Henry fumbled, they snapped the ball with 24 seconds left on the play clock when it was a running clock. Would have taken it down to the 2-minute warning.
Mm-hmm.
There were so many time management miscues and errors that the Ravens and the coaching staff consistently do week after week in close games. And that is not how you win football games. The Ravens are a mess. They always will be a mess, but their talent and their quarterback always gets them to the playoffs. That's a testament to how good Lamar Jackson is, how good he makes this team, how good he makes this offense. Derrick Henry, just an example, if Derrick Henry went to the Jacksonville Jaguars, he would not be putting up 2,000-yard seasons.
Brutal.
I know, sorry, but
That's a stray. We're 1-0.
I know you guys looked really, really good. My point is that Lamar Jackson is extending Derrick Henry's prime. And the Ravens and their coaching staff and their poor mess ups week after week are blowing this opportunity. Now, season long, I don't have a worry about this football team because the Ravens, for the first 10 weeks of the regular season, they always play like this. Their defense always underperforms with an abundance of talent. They always underperform. And the Ravens are going to be a 6-3 football team with as hard of a schedule that they have. They're going to somehow get to 6 or 7 wins by week 10. That wasn't on purpose. And then their defense starts to lock in. They're going to go undefeated in the month of December. They're probably going to be the 2nd seed in the AFC. And then the story repeats itself. I came into the season thinking and hoping for one thing, literally one thing. That's it. And it wasn't even a Super Bowl, because if we did this one thing, we are going to get to the Super Bowl. It was, can this team be more disciplined? And already, first game of the season, they proved me right once again that they cannot be disciplined. However, this offense looks legit. Like you said, William, I feel confident in this defense figuring it out. You have a game against the Browns on Sunday, a game that you should win.
We'll see.
But last year, they started off 0-1, losing to the Chiefs. Then the following week, they blew a 10-point lead to the Raiders in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
So we'll see how the Ravens can answer. But this is a football team that has lost their identity as a team, not as an offense. Their identity as an offense is, we're going to run the ball down your throat until you can stop it. Then when you do stop it, Lamar's going to throw the ball and he's going to dice you up. That offensive identity will never change because it works every single game. Their defensive identity, I have no idea what it is now. Their overall team identity, no idea what it is now. And it's upsetting saying this, because if they did the little things right, I'd be coming in here talking about how the Ravens won by 21 points, and once again, they're the best team in the NFL in the regular season. But right now, when you can't do the little things, you don't have a claim to be the best team in football. Win or loss, it doesn't matter at the end of the day. So, overall thoughts, if you care, are that I was shocked more than heartbroken.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, no, I lied. I was more heartbroken than shocked because I expected this.
Okay.
This team is still good. This team is still great. But there's a culture issue that this team can't shake. And until they find a way to get rid of it, they sadly will not win a Super Bowl.
A lot from Tyler there. He kind of aired it all out. Therapy session. We usually have one every Monday after a Tennessee loss. Just got a small one from Tyler there. A roller coaster of emotions. That's part of it. But it is week 1, and you do have a lot of time left. I am intrigued, though. I think if there was a letdown spot or a possible upset, Browns have some value this weekend.
They do.
I'm not kidding. Even though they're so bad, they were competitive this week against the Bengals.
The way that the left side of our offensive line looked, right now, Myles Garrett is licking his fingers.
Myles Garrett had a hell of a hit against Burrow. Man, that's a shellac.
Oh, one more thing, too. The fact
here
that
we
you
go.
don't go for it on 4th and 3 when you went for it on
No,
4th
Tyler,
and 2 years
Tyler,
ago
I don't like that.
is a little silly.
Tyler, you got to trust your defense enough. They had to kick that.
Why would you trust your defense?
Fourth and 3 on your own 40? That you're literally teeing
when
up.
you have the best backfield in arguably NFL history.
What should have happened, I think Malachi Starks. I think he tripped up Keon Coleman. He fell and then tripped up. Who was it? Was it Malachi Starks?
Jair Alexander.
Roblox. Yeah, Roblox should have just let him.
That was a terrible decision, but I mean,
should have. I mean, obviously, you're not thinking that in the moment, but he should have just let Coleman score. You had a.
That's what I was saying. As soon as he caught, I go, let him go, and I thought, damn, Jair.
If only they were listening. Yeah.
I know, but it gets to a point though where why wouldn't you trust your own quarterback?
Well, I mean,
more than your defense that has given up 35
Tyler,
points.
You can't go for it on 4th and 3 on your own 40 when they have a field goal to win it. Like, you have to trust your defense enough to get a stop. I mean, you put them at the 20.
But my point is one, you couldn't trust your defense all night. They couldn't stop a cold. 2, you still have 3 timeouts. So even if you do get a stop, they kick a field goal. You're still down by 1 with the minute left. Do you not have trust in Lamar Jackson in your offense to 1, get 3 yards on the drive previously? And 2, if you do have trust in your defense, trust them to hold them to a field goal when you give up that ball on the 30-yard line.
Yeah.
And then you give Lamar Jackson another chance to get the ball to win you the game.
Final thoughts on the other side. It's overtime presented by VIP Play on Fan Run Radio.
Congratulations. You found sports radio that doesn't suck. This is Fan Run Radio, Knoxville.
Barley's has live music on weekends, general team trivia on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m., and now live sports trivia courtesy of the Knoxville Trivia Guys every Thursday night upstairs. The game starts at 7 p.m. and is free to play for everyone, so head on down to the Old City and show off your sports knowledge and win gift cards to Barley's. Use those gift cards to buy some delicious food and drinks, and you can take it all in with their wide selection of TVs and indoor projectors. Barley's Tap Room and Pizzeria.
Hey Knoxville! Surfside iced tea and vodka, made with real brewed tea, is only 100 calories, 2 grams of sugar, with no bubbles and no troubles. That's right, zero carbonation, so it's easy to sip and enjoy. Headed to a game day or party at a friend's house? Bring an iced tea or lemonade variety pack from Surfside, or try their green tea and new raspberry tea vodka. Find the can with the sunset stripes this season. Surfside iced tea and vodka, sold at bars, restaurants, and stores near you. Surfside iced tea and vodka, sunshine in a can. Must be 21 or older. Enjoy responsibly.
Yee-haw! I've been hooting and hollering ever since I started betting with the VIP Play app. VIP Play has more than 200 leagues, every bet type you can imagine, live betting and live hosts, all with 24/7 support from real live people when you need them. Start betting better with the VIP Play app today.
Don't be a better, be a better with VIP Play today.
Download VIP Play today or head to VIPPlayApp.com. Make sure you use the promo code FANRUN to take advantage of their welcome bonus and so they know that we sent you. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-88-99789. Must be 21 or older and located in Tennessee to bet.
Are you tired of hiding your smile because of crooked teeth? At Knoxville Smiles, we've got the perfect solution. Invisalign. No metal, no wires. Just clear, comfortable aligners that straighten your teeth without anyone noticing. Eat what you want, smile with confidence, and see results in as little as 6 months. Call us today for more information about Invisalign, 865-539-1776. Or just visit us online at knoxvillesmiles.com. Smile brighter with Knoxville Smiles.
Hello, is Tina there?
Who's this?
Yeah, this is Vince from the hit reality show Wives Don't Tell. Tina applied for our show to confess that her husband won't go to the doctor to get his erectile dysfunction checked. She said she's ready for a guy that can bring the heat.
All right, what the hell is going on? You know you're talking to her husband right now? Tina!
Well, she wrote the application that her man's performance is questionable. She's basically married to a coffee table. She also said, we live within driving distance to Men's Pro Knoxville, but he's too scared to get a blood test.
Oh my, she is done. She is so done.
Gotcha, Mike. It's Nephew Tommy. Ain't no reality show. It's a prank. Men's Pro Knoxville is the real deal, fellas. Local experts, test results in minutes. Call 865-544-8220 or hit menspro-knoxville.com before your lady books a new co-star. Men's Pro Knoxville, making it happen.
Me and my niggas trying to get
All right, final thoughts on this Victory Monday from K-Town. We appreciate you hanging out with us. Overtime presented by VIP Play. My Jaguars just made a trade. Tank Bigsby on the move. I was just talking about him like 2 hours ago. But he's on the move. Jaguars continuing to be the new example in the NFL of how to run an organization with James Gladstone. It's final thoughts, guys. I can't say. I mean, it's. I will say, things have been looking up and up ever since Gladstone took over. Trent Baalke was an idiot, one of the biggest idiots in the NFL. He's gone, and they got rid of like every guy he drafted in 2022. They just waived them all. They didn't even wave back. And then this weekend, Jaguars did their job. We'll talk about it tomorrow. But I was impressed. 6 yards a carry? Hell yeah, sign me up. Travis Etienne started looking like Clemson Travis Etienne.
Are you back on that wagon?
What wagon?
The Etienne wagon.
Well, I mean, I have to be. Bigsby's gone. I mean, Rashul Tuden from Virginia Tech going to get some good run. And he played a couple of snaps on Sunday. I think he had 4 or 5 carries.
So is Etienne like the steal fantasy drafts now because of how atrocious he was last year? Was he going like the 10th rounds? And
seems like it. Yeah, Tyler, you can add that up. Yeah.
How often can we expect BTJ to put up an all-time cardio performance again?
Well, he had a touchdown, but the problem was, I
had his 50. I needed him to get 50 receiving yards.
Well,
he had like 6.
I needed him to get 5 catches. He had 7 targets.
I know. He dropped a couple, but also the Jaguars were just running it down their throat so well. There wasn't any really need to throw it. I mean, we were running 6 yards a carry, handing it off every time.
And the lightning too, or what was it? There was a
lightning delay. It was sunny as can be, and just lightning out of nowhere.
And they were delays this weekend.
Yeah, there were a lot of delays.
That's Florida for you.
Also, when we played ETSU the last time in 2018, we had a rain delay in the same week, so I thought that was interesting.
Allie's done her homework. I like that. That's a very niche statement.
What a pull!
Golly, that's a crown jewel out of a cave.
I honestly did think that it was going to get.
I thought he was about to say, "Oh, I do remember." Like I was about to say that too.
No, I don't remember that. I cannot. Tell
I
you
remember
where
that.
It was
week 2 magic.
Yeah.
No, but I was going to say. I mean, it wasn't looking pretty for us, Allie, walking into that stadium. It was gloomy, and the vibes weren't great from Mother Nature. However,
well, thank God you were doing the 6-7 emote all day. You were adding some fire to the stadium. It was so gloomy.
I actually have a video that I'm gonna have to show you guys once we get off. No, it's not me doing anything 6-7. It was my passion. You could see my passion.
Okay.
As a Tennessee fan, it was awesome. It was a video that he took when Joey Aguilar aired it out to Mike Matthews, and I recorded the whole thing. I was like, all right, you know what, 3rd and 8, I might as well record this. It was really cool.
So you're
I was there.
You're a phone guy.
No, I just said that I decided to take out my phone to film a random play, and
it happened to be the big one.
Happened to be the big one, and
it does work
I have had a couple hits like that. I ended up filming Jemai Mashak's game winner last year against Alabama. That was really cool. That was one of my greatest videos till this day. I got the Alabama game-winning field goal.
That's the only play I've got videoed. Besides the last, I videoed that one because I knew that it was going to be. I knew it was going in.
Right.
And the other play I did was the last play of my last game in Neyland Stadium as a student.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
But every game I go to, I always film the intro when the team runs out of the tee.
I never do that. I actually
home or away.
elect not to do that.
And every game, I also video the kickoff. So every game I've ever been to, I've always got the kickoff. So, one day when I'm old and, sitting on my couch, I can go back and say, well, this was
fair.
Alabama, Tennessee, 2022.
I would rather experience the running out of the tee and just be there.
I did experience. I was on the field for it last year. I was part of it.
Yeah. Oh, were you the one who ran out?
Ran out with them?
Ran out and
I didn't run out with them.
I have a video of me too being inside the tee when they're running out when I worked on football sophomore year. It was pretty cool. It was against that South Carolina game.
Yeah.
The blackout.
I was right there for it. So that was cool. I got to see it open up and everything.
Me too.
Real quick, cool story about that day. I was trying to get in position for that shot, right? And I guess it was a little bit before. It's probably about 10, 15 minutes before kick. And there were still a couple of guys out there, or, they're about to run out, whatever it was. And I bumped into this guy. And I turn around, I'm so sorry. And the guy turns around, and it's Phil Fulmer. And I was like, oh my gosh. I go, I'm so sorry. He goes, oh no, you're good, kid. And I was like, just one of those things, like, like in those Disney Channel shows, like they bump into someone and they turn around and it's like, oh, it's kind of
most
like
important person.
Yeah, it was kind of like one of those moments. So that was pretty cool.
I actually also stood right next to the run out on the field for the Georgia-Tennessee game in 2023. Won't be doing that this year, but very full circle.
Just Kevin Hart was in the building?
Yes. Yes.
Kevin
I couldn't
Hart.
see him, though.
Oh, that's a good joke. There you go, Tyler.
His son's being recruited for
Yes.
track and field.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, one of my idiot friends that runs Vol Report tweeted out Kevin Hart, like Heart. And I go, Walker, it's Hart, Hart. Like, come on. That's the type of guy.
Everyone should know that.
Congratulations, Vol Report, on 100K.
Yeah, I know. I am happy for him. I am happy for him about that. But I was like, come on, man. Kevin
Fan
Hart
on the radio soon.
Kevin Hart. It's pretty easy. It's like
important stuff to know.
Yeah. All right, that's going to wrap it up. Final thoughts on a Victory Monday. We'll be back tomorrow for a Tyler Tuesday to break down Georgia and Tennessee. Man, the hype and anticipation is heating up. We'll break it down when we return. I guess not return. We'll be back tomorrow, 6 to 8, right here on Fan Run Radio. For Jackson Freeman, Tyler Barbaras, Allie Campbell, I'm William Pattison. We'll see you next time.
A brand built in Tennessee and born from the love of the game, Inward Half revolutionizes golfing comfort. Crafted by a former pro and
Quarterback Brock Purdy will play Sunday due to a toe injury. The Niners will be at New Orleans. As for the Giants, Russell Wilson is still their quarterback, they say, for this Sunday's game at Dallas. The Major League Baseball, the Phillies at home lead the Mets 1-0 in the top of the fifth inning. Philadelphia shortstop Trey Turner is out with a strained hamstring, could miss the rest of this month. The Guardians lead 8-0 over the Royals in the top of the fifth inning, and it's the Braves over the Cubs 3-0 in the top of the fourth. The Cubs are starting Shota Imanaga. Cubs closer Daniel Palencia is on the IL with a strained shoulder. Plenty of games in a couple hours, including the Dodgers hosting Colorado. I'm Steve DeSager.
One guy is happily divorced. One guy is happily married. One guy gets called daddy by his 3 beautiful daughters. One guy gets called daddy after a credit card approval. One guy won a state high school basketball championship. One guy only covered a state high school basketball championship. One guy does voiceovers for fast food chains. One guy only eats fast food. Does this seem weird to anybody else?
Hey, I heard that.
Can this sports writer and this sports fan share a radio show without driving each other crazy? Now, live from the Fox Sports Radio studios, here's Fox Sports Radio's odd couple, Rob Parker and Kelvin Washington.
Hour number 2 on a Magic City Monday and Show Your Ass Monday. We're about to talk about the Lions, so you better be ready on this one.
Ain't nobody worried about you.
Rob Parker,